Yeah. What's happening, everybody? It's Mikey Wine here. You guys know me as Gundam William Works. You know how this is. We're live. It's part 14 of the Bandai Gundam M61A5 main battle tank project, and we're moving on to the base work now and some other stuff. So the tank is essentially done. And what's going on, Nick? Nick's first in today, 6 p.m. exactly. How you doing? Good to have you as always. Like I said, this is part 14, and I was able to, the tank is essentially done. I'm going to show that here in a few. And I was talking about maybe using one of the exceed heads for the base, but there's several reasons why that may not work, and I'll go into that. So what I will be using is the Rambarao set. It's actually the command set Rambarao. So it's got a Zaku head, some motorcycles, a few officers, a couple figures too, but I don't need to use any of those. What's up, Giovanni? How you doing? So anyway, let's go down and take a look here. I will go get the tank here in just a second. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the Rambarao set, and most of it is really just assembling the Zaku head. It does come with a small torso kind of neck section, which I probably won't be using. I'll probably just be using the head. But first, I'm going to go into the reasons why we're not going to use this guy or one of these. I've got several of these exceed heads. This is just one of them I brought over here to talk about. But these are nice. They're, after looking at this, it's probably like it's not a 1/35th scale for sure. What's up, Handren? How you doing? So doing good. I'm about to start painting the weapons on the RG Shin Matsunaga. Nice. So these are kind of cool. They do got an LED in them, and you can make that move around if you want. I forgot these actually have. You can get them, or you get an LED for them. Anyway, the main reason why I'm not going to be using this is one, these energy pipe sections here are not individual pieces, whereas the Rambarao set, they are. Each section is its own piece and can be cut accordingly. Now I could just cut this, of course, do the same thing. The biggest reason though is the scale, and I thought these were pretty close to 135, but I'm going to go to exceed Zaku hood. Yeah, you're going to do a diorama. Hell yeah. I am doing a diorama, Handren, but not with the exceed head. And like you just heard, I was talking about the reasons why. And here is the main reason. Let me grab one of the runners here. This is the Rambarao set. Okay. So I think you can see already why we're not using this, because if you look at the size of this thing, it's quite a bit larger. In fact, let me just go to the close-up here, and we'll take a closer look. So just the top of the head here, quite a bit larger. And then if you look at, say, the grill here, quite a bit larger as far as that goes. So yeah, in terms of scale, the Rambarao set is going to fit the bill much better. And like I said, these cables here are in sections. There's like 3 sections per side, and they're just solid molded pieces after that. But if you look at the runner here for the Rambarao, each cable section is individual. So, and I plan on doing a damaged, obviously destroyed Zaku head on the ground. So it would be a lot easier to have these in individual sections. Now, granted, the cable piece itself is also one piece, but of course I can cut this anywhere I need to as I'm assembling these cables to my needs, I should say. So yeah, that's 2 reasons. The other one of the nicer cool things about this set is also comes with some spent shell casings, which will be kind of cool. I can lay a few of those around on the ground, perhaps, and dirty them up, make them look like they're well used there. So let me just pop this back together. I'm going to grab the tank here in a second here and show off that. I still have a couple little touch-ups to do on the guns on the tank, but realistically, that's just going to be a couple minutes of hand painted work, super easy to do. So I won't have any problem there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, so it's bigger. Yeah, a bit bigger. Yeah. I wasn't sure because I hadn't actually compared the two until now. So the Exceed head, maybe 145. Yeah. 150. I mean, this is, or 145 would, yeah, probably pretty close because it's 135th for the round barrel and the tank. So yeah, it's hard to say. I've always thought they were a little bit close, but I never did take them out of the box and actually do a size comparison side by side. So there's a nice few runners here. All the internals inside the head too. So there's a lot of possibilities with this. A lot more than you could do with the Exceed head. I mean, the Exceed head opens up. It's kind of nice, but again, this is all one piece, and whereas the round barrel set, all these pieces are a little bit more individual, so there's a little more possibilities for parts manipulation, damage, that kind of stuff, you know. And I think I mentioned earlier too that there is this little, like a torso section here. I won't be using this just because we're not going to have this whole chunk sitting on the ground. It will just be the head itself, and I'll have to figure out, you know, what, to the extent of what kind of damage we're going to do there. So let me go grab the tank and could show this off. I'm not going to do a down view with it here. It's just a lot easier to also be able to show you the base I'm using. I went to one of our local craft stores and I found a wood plank, like a round, that'll be big enough to accommodate all this stuff. So we'll grab the tank here and we'll bring it back and do a little show and tell. So let's go up to the face look here, and we'll just spin this around. So this is probably the easiest way to show this off. So here we go, guys. I added the antennas. That's one of the last things I had to do, and the weapons there. You can see on the top. I have a couple of pieces of photo etch. Mavis says, "Hi, Mavis. How you doing? Thanks for telling me, so I don't have to, you know, keep the language down to a minimum." Thanks, Hendren. I appreciate that. I really do, especially coming from someone like yourself who's an expert at this kind of thing. I think anyway. Some of the stuff you do, especially the scribe work you do, is just amazing. So I'm going to kind of spin this around and try to give you a little bit of each angle. A little bit hard to see underneath, but this is just sitting on a round plank that I'm going to obviously. I've got some desert dirt effects, huh? Awesome job, brother. Thank you so much. I may add a few items in the stowage area, but we'll see. I've got some leftover 1/35th scale. That's amazing. Thanks, Giovanni. Too kind. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all true. So the antennas, one of them is, in fact, this little thin guy here on this side is done with some 28 gauge magnet wire. And then this other one is done with a stretched sprue that I cut. And if you've never done any kind of a stretched type sprue before, I'm just holding on to this with one finger here. I'm trying to make sure I don't let it slide off the plank as I'm slowly rotating this around. But I thought this is the best way to see it. It's kind of hard to look, you know, do the straight down look on it all the time. So yeah, from Igloo, yeah, it's very possible. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it and make sure. Let me go back. What's up, Tom? Let's give all the armor guys a run for their money. I appreciate that. I do appreciate this. So let me go back down to at least this look here, so you can see this plank exactly how big it is. It's quite large. So what I'm thinking of, my idea of this, and you guys can tell me what you think, is having the tank a little bit off center, and then just for sake of placing this, again, we're not using the exceed head, but since I have it kind of assembled, having something on the ground, the destroyed Zaku head, somewhere around here, maybe having a few guys milling about. I may have the commander up in the seat still, just because I want the hatch open, but I don't want to allow visibility down because I didn't really detail. I painted the inside, but I didn't detail it heavily like I did the outside of the tank. So because I intended on having a body in there, so I might flip it around. I might have the head on this side and the tank on this side, but kind of the idea of maybe a tank rolling up to this Zaku that they've just destroyed or whatever. Fantastic work. Thank you, Henry. It means a lot. Believe me, it really means a lot. Maybe have one of the tank tracks rolling over the head. Yeah, that is an idea. Tom. We might maybe pull that off. I'll have to do a little bit of build up. Obviously, this is a really flat piece and it's wood. I want to be careful with the amount of products that I use that have any kind of water base to them, because the last time I did some heavy water based stuff, it soaked into the wood and ended up warping the base, and it just turned into a kind of a mess. It was unintentional, but so I want to keep that to a minimum. I've got some AK products here, and I'll go over those in just a second. Maybe have the Zaku head tilted in a ditch, all broken. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Not just flat, but maybe a little bit of a hilly, a hill section here, or something that embedded in the sand a little bit, maybe a little bit of a dune or something coming up to it. I could put some foam down, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I've got some desert and some textured stuff here. Give me a sec here while I grab these. These are the two that I would use on the ground. So this is AK Desert Sand, and it's like a paste, kind of a not really thick paste. It's more like toothpaste, actually, maybe even thinner than that. But that would be the base for it. And then I've also got this corrosion texture, which is kind of it's a reddish color here. Let me just take the cap off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, actually, this one's not even open yet, so I don't want to mess with that. I'll leave it closed. But it's kind of a little bit hard to see, but you can do like corrosion textures on surfaces and stuff like that. I may use that for some color, but essentially I think we'll go with this, and then I can, once this is dry, you can easily apply some more dry pigments and colors and stuff like that to make it to give it a little bit of color variance and stuff like that, like realistic looking dirt and stuff. Tom says, too bad the tanks are hard to come by. Yeah, the diorama damage tank. Water would be cool. Yeah. He put that on screen. That's a very good comment. Giovanni says, off center, it always looks better. It's going to show arriving at a location. That's exactly what I was going for, Giovanni. Zaku rolled up laid on its side, all broken in another Federation unit. Checking it out. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about two models on this one base. Is that what you mean, Handred, with this comment here? Tank rolled up on a Zaku, laid on its side, all broken, another Federation unit. Yeah, I do have the hover tank too. I mean, I have both of them at 135 scale, but there's just no room for two big giant models on here. I think it'd be nice to maybe have this slightly tilted up on a hill, or maybe coming down a dune or something like that, and having the head over here. So tonight, we're just going to be working on the head. I think mostly I've got the figures here that I started to assemble from the Fetty tank set. I've got them in separate baggies because each one has its own set of arms and head and berets and their clothing and stuff. There's even some of their accoutrements or their sidearms and stuff like that on another runner, and even a little couple pieces of photo etch for a few of them that have a microphone in front of their face. There's actually some photo etch boom mics that come off of their heads and stuff, that their earphones and stuff like that. Geo, what's Geo? Oh, hey, what's up? Looks like George is in the house. Oh, there he is. I just missed a comment there. Let me hide this one. Where'd that comment go? Everybody's blowing up the chat, and I'm trying to keep up here. Heavy, it fall and made a ditch. Oh yeah, that's true. Some blast work, like maybe where, like you're saying, like you hit the sand and you're going to have some almost like a crater or some debris tossed around with it on the ground that way. It's a very good point. Everybody's saying hi. What's going on, guys? So once again, let me go back up here since a few people just popped in at the last second here. And I'm going to bring this back up and we'll just show this at face level. It's a little bit easier to get it to focus. So again, I got the two antennas on there. One's done with magnet wire, 28 gauge magnet wire. The other antenna, which is right over here, that's done with stretched sprue. The tracks, all those were done. The tracks were done with track wash and then some pigment on top of that. Moving it around here, I may put some stowage stuff in the stowage area. Haven't decided yet if I want to do that or not. There will be a figure standing in this corner back here. There's one of them that's designed to kind of be sitting on the rail there, so there will be one in the back. There will be one in the commander's seat, but the other one I'm going to probably put on the ground. With my, the feeling is that they've just rolled up on this destroyed Zaku and they're going to be checking it out. So that's what I'm kind of going with. Also for George and Tom, if you did not hear, the exceed heads are just too small in comparison to the 1/35th scale head. I'm going to put this back now. Let me back down look here. So we'll slide this, excuse me, over here. Get it out of the way. And I'll go back and show this off before we start building stuff here. So I was doing a little bit of comparison with size, and also having these individual sections for the power cables is really going to work well with the damaged head. So the biggest thing is just the size. You can see the grill here is way bigger. The top of the head is way bigger. So these are nice, but they're just not going to work out for what I want this project to be. So we're going to use the one from the Rambarel set, which is what we have here. And that's what I'm going to start building here in just a second. So 160, huh? Or 148. So yeah, we were trying to figure out, it's kind of a weird scale in between there. It's pretty close to 135, but it's 148 might actually be more believable. 160 I think is a little too small. But we're going to go forward with this. So, got the Rambarel set. Also got some Xeon figures in here. We won't be using those for this anyway. So here's an example of what you guys were just kind of talking about. You can see the Zaku head. The cable's busted, some wires and things coming out. I've got some small springs and some, wires and stuff I could use easily to recreate that. It's pretty toasty here in Sultan right now. It's about 82 degrees outside. It's pretty warm. So, scale schmale. Scale sample. It's close enough. Yeah, it is. However, I just don't have as much versatility, I think, with this guy. Being able to assemble those cables individually, in individual sections, and then break them apart is a lot easier than trying to cut these and do all that. Also, just the internals of this is like one solid piece, not a lot of detail to it. In fact, it's hollow underneath, whereas the internal parts on the Rambarel set here are all individual, so there's a lot more options there for damage and other things like that. So Let me just open this up to, I mean, the first page is pretty much just the figures, but we're not going to be doing the figures. I'm not going to be building the motorcycle or anything like that. There is a one or two bikes in this. But I'm just going to be working on the Zaku head, so we're going to start here and go to work. Is that from the kit itself? You're talking about, Tom, you're talking about this and this. Let me pull this back here. I'll show you the box art. So this is its own kit. Let's go down to, where's my mouse? There it is. So this is the Rambo set, similar to the one of the other smaller Fedi sets, but Federation sets. But I think this is just all Xeon with the Zaku head. Best example is to look at like the side here. This is what you got without the armor on it. Got a couple of figures, one on a bike. And then there's an officer or two, including one of the female characters. But yeah, so it's its own set. It's called the Rambo Commando set. Had it for quite some time and hadn't really figured out what I was going to do with it. So this is a very good option, I think. Cool, another hard to find set. Yeah, I wish they would do a lot of. Does look detailed. Yeah, you're right, George. It is very much detailed more, I think, as well. Well, there's some nice panel lines on the Exceed head, but as far as the scale and the details that are there, I think it's going to work really good with this. What's Hendren saying? Although the Exceed heads has more surface details. Yeah, it does. I mean, as far as like the top of the head, yeah, I can see what you're saying there. But again, I'm gonna weather the crap out of it, so it's gonna be pretty detailed as far as the damage and the weathering. So, all right, I gotta put on my blinders here so I can see what I'm doing. So sorry if I missed any of those comments. I was trying to keep up with that as well as doing the show and tell portion here. Just looking back, it doesn't look like pay less attention to the model and more to your audience. That's what I do. I'm not sure what, maybe you need to go into a little more explanation there, George. I missed that when I was going through the comments. Like a destroyed tank. Yeah. Ooh, if you do the Rambo Rouse set with a tank, it would be cool. Well, I am doing it with the tank. I'm just doing it with the Fedi tank. I am doing it with the tank. In fact, that's why I have that round base. So I'm putting it on the same base with the 135th scale M61A5 main battle tank. Anyway, H runner. Where's the H runner? I got them all on the wall here in front of me. So once I remember where everything is at, I'll be able to start cranking away here. Indeed, George. Indeed. All right. Oh, we got two pieces there. F. What's an F? This is an F. It's H runner. Oh. I thought I had all the pieces here I needed, but I don't. 7. Got two different runners I got to pull from here. Pop this back on the wall. See, what you can't see is in front of me is a pegboard. My camera's kind of stuck on a magnet, but I've got all the runners up on the wall, so that allows me a little bit more free space in front of me. Not much, but a little more. Rambo could have captured the Fedi tank. Well, the problem is the Rambo Rouse set only comes with the head and part of the upper neck and torso area. And that's it. There's really nothing else in the kit except that, and then the figures. So we got 21, 20, and 18, or yeah, 18, 19. As we get through later on, I'll bring out the tank again. We'll ideas, but so far those are identical. Nope, one of them is different. So I do need to make sure these are directional. There's two of these side pieces that are directional, so I'm going to make sure. I'm just going to pop that one over there so I know. All right, that's enough to start with. Oh, so how's the weather where everybody else is? Right here, it's pretty hot today. Here, I've got my ceiling fan on full speed. Got the windows open, but it's just kind of hot air coming in, so I'm kind of like once it sun goes down a little bit, the temperature will drop, it'll cool off, it'll be really nice. Open the windows more, but for now I've kind of got the blinds closed just because the sun is kind of on this side of the house anyway. Right now it's pretty intense. Let's see, Hendren says, let's put this on here. Use the round pieces for the base of the exceed head, shoulder laying around that head. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, this is what it comes with. Okay, so you see the head with the neck would kind of go in here. This is like the front of the chest, but it's a little too much exposed. I mean, it's actually very detailed underneath. There's even, hey, look, Nick, a lot of rivets under the bottom here, but then it's all hollow, so it's kind of, I don't know. I'd have to dress it up, but I don't think I need this whole section in the ground. It's going to be too high off the base. I want to have just the head portion laying down there. I think the armor is going to come later, so I'm going to put this back on the wall. We'll get these out of here too, and we'll hang those back here just until we need them. Pretty comfy here in the Northeast. Yeah, what's the temp there? Tom says, Gio, if you worked like Mike, maybe we'd have a few kits built. Shots fired. Tom's slinging insults. Trying to say I'm a fast builder. I'm not as fast as I used to be. Oh, the exceed head base. This little thing, I don't know. It's kind of, it's interesting, but it's not very big and it doesn't do much. Whoops. So it's really just kind of, I don't know. I do rivets one time only. Am I thinking of the wrong person? It does rivets all the time. I might be thinking of the wrong person. All right. So let's do some building. This is just going to be some quick snapping too. Wow, that is a tight fit. That is not coming back apart easily at all. That is a really snug fit. Okay, now Nick can chime in because now we're doing some sanding. Oh, and George, watch your mouth because Mavis is here. Right, Nick? Let's see. Yeah, you're probably right, Tom. George says. We know he's right, but nobody's judging. You haven't had the case that came in it. Oh, around it? I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't remember. I've got a few of these that are still unbuilt, so there might be one or two laying around, but including one of them is a Dom head, I believe. Maybe it's just left for bed. Okay, good. So we can start cussing now. Just keep sanding. Just keep sanding. That's funny. They'll be polite. No, you don't have to anymore, George. You let you off the hook there. So Mavis is off to bed now. So salty language may continue. So is there a front and back to this? It just shows them. I don't think there is. It just shows them pressed together, and then these other two pieces. But I got to do some sanding first. Got a joke for Mavis. These two lesbians are walking down the street. Oh no. Unpolite time is reserved only for Thursday nights. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the adult show, 18 and over. Don't bring the kids to that one. All right, I'm not sure if any of this is really that directional, but it does show these only going. I mean, this is directional, but let's see if I can manage to get these in here. So do I need to sand that? Not really. It's not going to matter much because this is not exposed. Bedtime for you, Tom? Oh, come on. Well, the adults are still playing. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for stopping in, Tom. I appreciate you coming every time. Have a great night. Catch you next time. Take care, Tom. Yeah, can't be up for everybody. Actually, I gotta take that back off. Gotta soften up that line there. That sanding line. That's a 320. That's not going softer. Where's my 400? Ah, here we go. Same here. Got to be in the office at 5 a.m. I don't have to be office that early, but I do have some travel time, so I always get up early. All right, so this one goes on this side. Does that cover that up? I'm going to take this back off once again. So I got these two pieces joined here, but some nibs on the top. So I'm going to make this one even surface before I go together. Still not there. That's better. All right. That covers that up. There's quite a few mold lines on these pieces too, and I'm not sure what's going to be visible, so I'm going to have to go through and take all these off first. Or someplace that has a 3D print file. What are we talking about now, George? Did I miss something in the chat again? I apologize if I missed something. Stick. There we go. I don't usually shop 3D print files, so I wouldn't even know where to start. But most of the time, if I need anything, I've got to either scratch build it or just find a way to make it work. But if you have a little more detail as to what you're referring to, George, let me know. Okay, George says, Mike, do you only see one line at a time? What do you mean? Like on my chat? No, I've got a whole almost half a page of it, but as each one comes in, they start to pile up, and if I miss one, it goes up further. I've got to scroll up and see them all. I've got at least 10 comments on the screen, depending on the length of the comment. If they're just like one sentence questions or something like that, I could get more on the screen, but if it's a big paragraph, obviously I get less. But sometimes I just look down and all of a sudden I'll get like 6 comments rack in all at once, and I might miss one. That's why I'm asking. You might have said something that I just looked down for a second and I didn't catch. See Giovanni's question. Let me go back up. Find Giovanni's question. Good Lord. How far up was it? Speaking of Zaku's, anybody knows where I can get an... Oh, sniper rifle. That's what you're talking about. Talking about this one here? Yeah, I did not see that. I must have missed it because right when I came back, it was Tom saying goodnight to everybody. So. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know where to find a 3D file. That would probably be helpful, especially for something like that. So, for anybody else that might have just joined in, I'm starting the round barrel set here. I'm building the Zaku head, which is pretty much the entirety of the round barrel set. And I'm going to be including that on the vignette or diorama, whatever you want to call it, for the 1/35th scale main battle tank that I have just essentially just finished. I have a couple little details I've got to do. Some hand painting. There were some photo etch pieces on the M60 machine gun and the light machine gun. There were some small photo etch pieces that had to go on there that I missed when I was just snapping that stuff together, so I didn't include those. So I did glue those on. Now I've just got to hand paint them. That will be the end of that. Andron says either scratch build one or probably you can find an STL file you can print. Yeah. Yep. Those are the 2 options, I think. Really, that sounds about right. Okay. So we're going to get one step of this thing done tonight, I think. Okay, there we go. I'm not even sure what this is, but it doesn't swivel. It looks like it's supposed to swivel back and forth here, but it does not. Those 2 pegs that go into this piece, those are keyed a certain way. So, all right, H1. I'm starting to get the hang of where my parts are on the wall here, so I'll go a little bit faster. H. And the round barrel set comes with, whoops, number 1 only, comes with spent shell casings, which is kind of cool addition, which we can put on the ground here. You see these guys here. There's actually what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 20 spent shell casings here that can be added to on the ground to the base for more details and character. We'll see how those go, if they in fact get used or not. So E is this one, which is most of the framework for this is for the lens in the head, and then this is the bottom of the head here. So almost a couple of these pistons I gotta cut off here. 8 and 9. Okay. That's what these look like. Once I get this thing together and get ready to take it back apart and start essentially destroying it, because I'm going to be damaging it quite heavily, I'll be able to see what parts I want to leave, intact, and then what I need to start drilling out as far as damaged holes, bullet holes, things like that. I sent you 2 references. Oh, cool. Thanks, Andrew. I got my phone. I don't have the sound on, so I can hear it vibrate maybe, but I don't have any. I'm not going to check it right now. I will look at it later after the live stream. So these art graph sets are really well detailed. I like them. But there is quite a few mold lines. This is an older set, I think. So it's going to take a little bit of cleanup to get most of this stuff to go away. Some of them have nubs right on them, so it's not as easy. Try to make sure that doesn't fall over. So, anyway, everybody have a good Memorial Day weekend. Nice long weekend, I hope. For those that do get the holiday off. It's one of the few holidays we do get off, which is nice. Hope everybody had a nice, relaxing time. I didn't do a whole lot. It's kind of nice. Played some games with the wife. Kind of lounged around, didn't do much. That's a horrible place to put it in. It's right next to this raised detail line. It's also like right on a mold line too. Really bad place. So that's all right. We'll get it. What's up, Dwayne? How you doing, buddy? PG Zaku? No. This is the Rambarel set, which I'm going to be adding the Zaku head, a damaged one, after I, of course, assemble it first. But I'm going to damage it quite heavily and have it laying on the ground next to the main battle tank, which is also called, I think I still have the box in here. Yeah, it's the Phantom Element Semovente M61A5 main battle tank. I will bring that back over and show it again. I'm pretty much done with it. All the weathering is done. I added the antennas and all the weapons on. I just have a couple little details to to hand paint on it. Some of the photo etch added at the last minute. Nice. Enjoying home time while the truck is being worked on. Oh, really? Just normal maintenance stuff, or something bad happened where you had to something break, I should say. Being in the repair industry, I kind of relate to that. It's like some things are just maintenance, and then there's other stuff that something broke, something went bang, or something's leaking. Imagine it can be, especially in the big trucks, it can be a little bit more serious. And then how long before you hit the road again? It's hopefully tomorrow. Got to make that money. That's right. How are you going to buy more model kits? Let's see. Make that money. There it is. I'm looking for my thinner 400 here. You got these mold lines in just the worst. Some of the worst spots. Because they've also got some rivets. Some raised rivets I don't want to lose, but I've got to almost sand right over them. Just trying to take my time to work around them. Fortunately, the line on the back here is a lot less pronounced. It's a lot easier to sand it off. Do just a tiny bit. Just going to do it the old-fashioned way with the back of the edge of a razor here. There we go. Okay. Now these are directional, so I've got to sit here for a second, and okay, now I can see what I got to do. So this would appear, and it goes on this side. And then this one, whoops. On this side. Okay, and then they even give you a little look at it here from up above. Yeesh, there's quite a bit that's got to link together. This is not as simple as I figured it would be. Which I like. I like it that it's more complicated than just the exceed heads are nice, but they are pretty basic. It's not really that much of a model. But these, this has quite a bit more mechanically going on here. So I'm just going to set that down for a second. Okay, sorry, I'm missing comments here. I got to go back up here and hide one. Oh, geez, I clicked on that one a long time ago. The APU, which is AC for the sleeper bed, wasn't working properly. I'm going to put that on screen because we were just talking about what's going on with your truck. The APU, which is, I'm assuming, let's see, which is the AC for the sleeper bed. Oh, that wasn't working properly in the driver's seat. Back recliner was broken, so they had to order new parts for the Freightliner. Okay, yeah, so something broke. That's a bummer, but you need air conditioning. I totally hear you there. Where's my sandpaper dance? Oh, you're talking about George? Or That's funny. They're right in front of you. What are you talking about? They're all right in front of you, but still can't see them. Are we talking about this piece? Or, because there's nothing really right in front of me except the instruction booklet. Like, frankly, I got enough model kits. Slow builder. I haven't bought any new kit in a long time. Yeah, I probably shouldn't myself, actually. I don't buy as many as I used to, but I still pick up one now and then. sandpaper you need for any given day. Yeah. Well, I just got several of these little sponges, really. Got a few sticks, but most of the time I'm using these. Unless I need something to be absolutely flat, then I don't use the sticks as much as I use these. All right, back to it here. It's always right in front of you. Mm-hmm. You are correct. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. So look at this. That's there. That's there. Now we've got to. I want to make sure this is directional, so I want to keep that oriented the same way it looks like. Oh, then they're flipping it around. Oh wait, we got to do that twice. Oh, that goes in the side. Okay. So that's going to go right in here. Just like that, I guess. And I've got to build another one of those for the other side. This must be like the neck portion or something, because there's a lot of pistons going on here. Yeah, it's cooking here today. My room is usually fairly comfortable, but it's kind of warm. So I got the shorts on and the ceiling fan cranking, just to keep, even though the air isn't cool, at least it's moving around, a little bit, so it makes it a little bit more tolerable. All right, so I need the H runner again. So I got some pistons I got to put together. Ah, 15 and 3. Interesting. All right, well, we'll just do it one at a time. Yeah, these are molded really, really well too. I don't see any flash on the parts, which is nice. So number 3, these are a shorter piston. And 2 of those. I might as well cut them both off right now. And that's 16. Set this. I know I'm going to go right back to it, so I'm not going to put it back on the wall. All right. Some parts clean up here. It's pretty basic stuff. So we usually go between the 240 and the 400. If I got a pretty good nub or something, I'll use the 240 for most of the taking it down, but it just leaves a little too heavy scratches in there, so I'll go back to 400 to kind of polish it up, just so when I do put down the first layer of primer, you won't see any of those. If there is any sanding scratches, those will go away. most of these surfaces where these nubs are curved. So the sponges work nicely for that. Because they'll wrap around those corners easier. Make it. And you don't want a flat spot. You want to make sure it's holding the same. Looks good. Alright, so 2 of these pistons go on one side. Or actually, one goes on one side, one goes on the other. Dwayne says sponges are really great. I use the Display and Infinity spun sticks. Nice. I've always kind of been fond of the Godhead ones. I've owned a couple of sets of them over the years. I don't know if anybody washes them. I think I've heard of that being done, but typically I just use an old toothbrush to clean off any heavier material. Okay, but that's really all I do with that. Okay, so first I'm gonna have to do some assembly here. So those rivets go out. There's rivets on this piston piece that go to the outside. So these are directional. Make sure you put them on correctly. All right, but I'm gonna have to build this other piece first before we can put these side sections on. So we need E4 and 5 and the second one, H2 here. Okay, here's number 2. This is similar to, if not the exact same piece I just assembled. And then the other 2 are right here. This is E4 and 5. Right. Let's see, it keeps uniform pressure, especially on curves. Yeah, that's true. When it says I've washed them before, but toothbrush is also a great call. Yeah, I guess, I mean, that's just what I did. I don't know. I hadn't actually considered washing them like any kind of regular household sponge because, I don't know, I just never thought about that until I saw somebody or heard somebody talk about it. I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. I'm not sure what it would do to the, if it would really mess with the sanding surface or not, but these also have a decent amount of mold line here. So it's going to take a little bit of time to clean up these piston receivers. Hendren says, I recently got me a nice scraper off of Amazon. A no-name brand, comes with 2 aluminum alloy blades. Really great to clean up new scribe lines. Oh, nice. Scrape off plastic. That sounds like a nice tool. If you've got a link, send me that link too, Andrew. That'd be nice. I'll check it out. There's always room for a nice tool in the collection. Especially the type of work that I do every day. I don't buy tools because they're cool. I buy them, to make me more efficient, especially in my line of work. Make you faster, more efficient, and you make more money. Well, in this case, with scale model building, the right tool goes a long way. It saves you time. There's a mold line down the middle of this round piece, and I'm not trying to get all of it off with the razor. I'm just trying to get the edge that my sponge can't get down into that corner. So once I get that cleaned up, then I can just go back over with this guy. Handle and 2 blades. I think it's a great price. Nice. Oh, 15. That's great. What's up? Then you get old. Ken's in the house. How you doing, Ken? Hey, Angel, how's it going, guys? Good to have you both, as always. You guys are probably wondering what I'm building. I do the underside. I did not do the underside of that one. Wow. I'm going to go back and redo this. I put this piece in here and I realized I did not do the underside of this piston. I saw the mold line on the one I'm doing now and I was like, I don't remember doing that on this piece. Back in and redo it. Sanding. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm sanding. No, I'm building the Zaku head from the Rambarel set. Because we discovered that the Exceed heads are too small a scale for this diorama to look right. So, diorama or vignette, whichever one you call it. Going by PMS rules, it might be called a vignette. There's only one model on the. I guess this is essentially 2 models, but could be a diorama. It's kind of a gray area. Could qualify as both. Zaku head, yes, Zaku head. I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the complexity of it so far. I mean, we're just in the first couple of steps here, but it's quite a bit of moving parts that all have to link together. Clean it up with the 400 and we're done with this. It's not for the tank. Yes, it is for the tank. Yes, it is. So I got a round base, and I'll show you. If you guys stick around long enough, you'll get to see it later. I'll bring the base back over and show you what I'll be using. Actually, the mold lines go right down the middle, right next to these 2 rivets, and it's really hard to not sand them off. I'm trying really hard not to do that. I'll keep an eye on the time too, because I want to make sure I got time left to show the tank, show the base that we're going to start with, what we're going to be working with. It's just after 7 my time here. I'll wait till about 1/4 and you can start heading down for the wrap up we'll get down there and I'll show the tank again. And what the base is going to start as part of that wood plank round that I have. I'm not sure what it was for. It's not for like a clock. You know, when you go to these craft stores, they have some prefabricated wood planks and stuff like that. And some of them are made for clocks. They're round. This is round, but the side you're supposed to use has little slots in it, almost like for, I don't know, maybe it's just for making a welcome sign or something. I don't know. But I'm using the back of it. I flipped it over. Okay, so let's do some assembly here. So this one goes on this side. So I've got to put these on, and then I've got to insert these pistons in as we go together. So this is going to be a little bit time here until I get this. So first, okay, so this goes in here first. Now, take this one. Gonna head off. Okay, Dwayne. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. See you next week. So that this one goes in here and then there. Yeah, okay. So that piston goes in this first, and then this goes on here. Like so. Wow. So let me get the other side together here, and then I'll show you what I think this does. I'm not sure what this articulation is for. Okay, so these will move up. Let's see if we can show this. So we've got these as they move up, those pistons. It's kind of tricky. I like it. And there's going to be another set that goes on this other side, it looks like. All right. So there's some nubs here. Now we got to do the other side. Those other pistons. Or other parts that go into those pistons. So H4, I got the longer set of pistons here, piston rods. And then 13 and 14. So these are going to complete those other two sides, the ones we put on first, in the beginning of this step. Pretty nasty mold line down the center of these two, so I'm going to have to do quite a bit of cleanup on these. Later, fellas. Okay, Nick. Again, don't forget, hit that thumbs up. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you every time you pop in. Go give old Mavis a good hug for us, and we'll see you next time. We got quite a few in the, at least quite a few watching. You guys want to chime in? Throw a hi in the chat. Let me know who's here at the end of the show. I'd like to go through and say, give everybody a thank you for the ones that popped in and participated. So if you want me to, if you guys also have a social media page or something like that you want to advertise, put that into the chat, and I'll make sure that everybody sees that on the screen. Dwayne and Nick. Everybody already knows who George is. We don't have to worry about him. We can put his up there too. Tune in, Mr. Old School, Gunpla, George. There's a morning live stream every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube now, pretty regularly. Man, this is a hideous mold line across this whole piece. But you know what? It's just a hard graph kit. It's not master grade technology, so it might be why. And of course, the age might be showing its age a bit too. Oh, hey. Philates, hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you again. Late to the party? Nah, it's all good. It's no big deals there at all. Get a few people might be on their mobiles or something like that, but a little shy, don't want to say hi, that's fine too. I appreciate the guys that take the time to put a shout and put a chat in there, because it does also help with YouTube anytime you guys comment. So please take the time to throw a comment in there, tell your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Continuous challenge against the YouTube algorithm. You know, each one of those little actions doesn't cost you a thing. Just throw a little hi, how's it going in the chat? Any kind of comment, also anything helps, and make sure that the videos continue to get exposure to other people that are searching for them. So, okay, we're almost there. I'm going to try to get these pistons done real quick, and then we can show the tank. I'm going to start winding down here to the end of the show here. Just give me one more second here to get this last nub and mold line handled, and then we'll put these other two pistons on, and then I'll bring the base back over here so the people that did pop in a little bit later can see what we're trying to do, what the plan is anyway. We have to do a little more cleanup on these, but for the sake of time, we're going to blast through this. Okay, so let's see now. So we got this guy here. The piston goes on to this pin. Now these are directional because these little piston collars have rivets on them, so they do have to go on a certain way. Rivets facing outward. Okay. After that, now we've got to assemble these. So first up, it's this one. And that goes through there. Wow, this is a complicated little setup. So I gotta bring these back up to neutral here, because this is gonna go into here first. Bring this piston up, and then it links up right here. Okay. So wow, it's kind of a complicated little setup there. Let's see if we can get focus. Come on, focus, baby. There we go. So as this moves up and down, both of those pistons are going to work together. And then the other side, same thing. Pop this in here. This goes behind that and goes right into there. So then, as we bring that down, there we go. All right. Perfect timing, because that's gives me just enough time to... let's see. I grabbed Vallejo pigment and a binder, so I'll let you know how it goes. Nice. This is, let me put that on screen. That's very cool. So you got a binder, that like a fixture, right? That I was using, something to actually hold the pigments in place and bond them to the surface, whatever you're applying them to. That's very cool. Old AIM powders. Well, that's what I'm using is AIM products. As most of my stuff is from AIM, which is, you know, they were relatively cheap packaging, but very good quality pigment. So good on you for trying that stuff out. So let me move this aside here. I'm going to go back to this just for a second. I'm going to get the nubs off of this paper. Dump those before I make a mess. So let's pop this together, and I'm going to bring over the tank on the base, and you'll see what we're talking about. That's pretty sweet mechanics. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. All right, so for those that didn't get to see this initially, and I will go back up to the other view here. So I found this round at it's kind of like a Michael's. It's called Ben Franklin, but it's a craft store, and the other side of this has like I said, it's got some grooves in it. It's like for making some kind of a welcome sign or something to hang on the wall. It came with a rope that I took off. It had a little rope. There was like two staples and a piece of rope twine hanging here for hanging it, but I obviously took that off. And we'll cover all that up when we use this stuff. We'll be using our desert sand AK, and then maybe some corrosion texture. We'll see how that goes. I haven't opened that yet. I've also got some other, I've got some that's asphalt. I could even put some asphalt down. But first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take these off and go. Pretty sweet mechanics. Yeah, man. So let's go back up here, and I'll show you, because this is a little bit easier for me to do this at this level. So I'm going to bring this up so everybody can kind of get a better close-up of the tank. I added the two antennas. The thinner one you see in front, kind of on the side of the turret, is made with 28 gauge magnet wire. And then the other one in the back, further back here, is done with stretched sprue that I melted with lighter, and then you stretch it out to what you like. So let me go around here real slow. I'll get an idea. I still got a couple, like I said, couple little details I got to hand paint on the big M60 machine gun and the light machine gun on the back. There were some photo etch pieces that I hadn't put on yet, so just like little sights and stuff that I had to glue on there, and then I'll do that. But anyway, let's try to keep this flat. So I think it came out really, really well. I like the way the weathering looks. It is a little bit heavier weathering than I first anticipated, I think, when I started. You can see the tracks, and it is weathered underneath as well. I didn't do as heavy underneath, but it is underneath, and I can actually show that here in just a second. The hatch, I have not finished gluing down the hatch yet. I wanted to make sure I was decided if I was going to have the commander in the seat yet or not. So before I left that open or close, I left that in one, or left that unattached, so I can figure out what I want to glue it or not. So let's go here, and I'm going to bring this back to down look here before we finish up, and I'll flip this over. Hopefully my hatch doesn't fly off, but nothing should move. But it should be. So yep, there goes the hatch. So there's the bottom. Not quite as heavy in some areas, but pretty much just around where the drive gears are and where the the accumulation of dirt would fling off from those drive gears. The hatch just goes right on here, but I'll have to re-glue that in a moment. But so the idea was to, let me bring this forward just a smidgen here. I'm going to put this over here so I don't lose it. Was to maybe have the tank, off center, probably turn slightly one way or another, and then maybe have, I'm just going to use this as an example since we don't have the Zaku head together yet, but somewhere over here there will be the damaged Zaku head laying on the side or whatever. I might have some dirt and rocks up here a little bit higher, so I can kind of sink this down, make it look as if it just came down and boom, hit the ground, and you've got a little bit of surface, almost like a crater kind of, expansion with dirt and rock and things getting kind of blown out as something of this size and weight hits the ground, that kind of thing. So thanks Phil. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate everything you guys do to support me, support the channel. It's awesome. Thank you so much. So that's the idea. That's what I'm going with. I'm trying to make sure that I don't think there's too much water. gonna have to check the composition and stuff. Last time I used a wood base, and I put I tried to stick down some plaster molds, and there was so much water content in the plaster, it just soaked in and warped my wood base. So I'm really trying to make sure it doesn't happen with this. I don't think there's a terrible amount of water in this stuff. Hopefully when I start to put the stuff down, it doesn't give me any problems. But last time I used a wood base, I had that problem with it warping. It just kind of turned into a mess, and I made it work, but it wasn't fun. So that's where we're going. I think this size is fine. I was thinking about using maybe a rectangular base, and then we came across this in the store. So I think this works well. It was only like $8, $9 or something like that. If I do it right, maybe I can have this, rolling up on a hillside a little bit of, offset. I'm going to have, like I said, the commander in the seat. There will be another guy in the back here. So I might flip this around where the figures are on this side of the model. So we may have just slide this over and switch it up. That way I've got one here, and then I'll have one guy on the ground, maybe here. Just checking out this head that's on the ground. So that's the idea. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. Let me know what if you got any ideas, go ahead and throw that out there too. Anyway, Hendren, if you've got that Amazon link or whatever for that tool you were talking about, throw that over to me if you can. If not, no worries there. But I'm interested to see what it is you were talking about. Sounds pretty cool. So, yeah, that's where we're at, and we're going to keep building the Zaku head. I'm going to fully assemble it first to see what what options I have for the damage that I'm going to do to it, what pieces I'm going to have to take back off, where I'm going to have to drill holes. Obviously, there's going to be, this is the clear lens. There's going to be some holes in it, if not pretty extensive damage to that. So that'll be an interesting part of that process as far as damaging the glass. But other than that, I want to be able to, I got to build it first so I can see what I got to do to destroy it, essentially. So that's where we're at. I sent you several stuff. Thank you, Hendren. Appreciate it. So anyway, boys and girls, let's go back up here to. We'll call this one a night. Let me go back up here. We'll go up here. Everybody can look at my mug. So let me go up here and start over at the list here, see who came in the chat tonight and say hi to her. So Nick is gone, but anyway, thank you, Nick. Thanks, Giovanni. Hendren was in shortly after that, and I said Giovanni, right? Yeah, Giovanni. Thanks again, Hendren. As always, appreciate you. Moving on down, we had Tom. Tom took off too. He had to go night-night, so thanks for coming in, Tom. Hendren again, then we got George in after that, and I think that was it until we got down to Ken and Angel. Yeah, pretty much all the same. Everybody. I don't think there was anybody else. Oh, Dwayne, that's right. Dwayne came in for a little bit too. Good to have you, Dwayne. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate you. I'm sorry if I'm rambling here. I'm just going down the list here. And we had Phil. Phil showed up, and Angel and Ken. As always, thank you so much, guys. All right, let's see. Now we're down to the bottom here. For my first dio, what's he got here? For my first dio, pink insulation foam. But the Cessna was light and fragile. The tank looks like most likely heavier, needs more support. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really gonna change the angle of it too much if I do at all. I might just do it on flats and have a little bit of a mound or something next to it with the head there. I'm going to have to probably elevate the head slightly so I can bury it. You know what I mean? I want it to be partially down in the dirt. Obviously, if something of that weight coming down from 60 feet is going to hit the ground at a pretty good clip, and it's going to, kind of embed itself in the dirt. So I want to partially do that. So I will have to build that up a little bit somehow. I just don't want it sitting flat on the ground. It just won't look right at all. Angel says later all. Thanks so much. You're welcome, brother. Great stream. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Yeah, thanks again, Hendren. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, I hope that answered your question, Phil. Well, let's kind of play it by ear at this point. I got to build it first and then see what's available and how I can make it work. So, but I do want to have that kind of partially sunk down in there. Not much, but because it's going to be damaged, the cables are going to be separated. There's going to be some wires hanging out, springs, things like that look like power cables. We'll have to build all that later when we get to that point. So, one last time, thanks to each and every one of you. I appreciate you every time you come in here and support the channel. For those that were just watching, thanks again for joining in. We had quite a few tonight. We're up to about 18, I think, at one point, which is pretty nice. It seems to be growing and growing every week. So we'll keep it going. Be good humans, you guys. Take care of each other, and we'll see you on next week.